Ballerina is a term that is often misunderstood. Many people think that ballerina describes any girl who dances on the tips of her toes in a ballet company. But it is a very precise term, yet almost indefinable.
Sometimes in every great company, you discover in the court ballet some girls who have the same technique and sometimes a better technique than the ballerina, but they are not ballerina because they are lacking something which is very special and makes, when we say a diva, you know, it's a word that becomes a little pretentious or a little funny sometimes. But the translation in Italian, it's a goddess. And the meaning is someone who is touching the divinity. So, I mean, a diva, a ballerina, is someone who lives in a different planet.
Every great dancer must have an individual approach to her dancing, plus the technique. I mean, it's no good just a dancer coming out and doing it just with a brilliant technique because it's dead. You have to have a personal reaction to the classicism, which is your own.
Ballerina, the name is very commonly used, and almost too much so. But a true ballerina is also a superb artist and a thoroughbred. There's a training in there which makes a finer born to it, the way a breed of special trained athlete or animal. There's a fineness of the body, the technique, and most of all the spirit, which is different than anything else.
Желательно, чтобы было все. Конечно, это трудно, но все хорошо делать трудно. В любой профессии. Не только в балете, абсолютно во всей профессии. Во всех профессиях. И понимать свое дело. И уметь его любить. Не просто себя, а любить свою профессию. Это тоже важно очень.
To become a ballerina means to bring into ideal balance the physical possibilities of your stubborn and perfect body with the possibilities of your soul, which, as you go through life, is continually renewing itself and constantly demanding new expression. Does not exist outside the human body. If a dancer's body is incapable of feeling movement with emotion, with meaning, in order to convey to the audience the equivalent mood, a sense of life, then such a body has no place in ballet. For me, dancing means overlooking the formality of movement. It means spirituality. Otherwise, what good is it? Those programs are about ballerinas and being a ballerina. What she does, how she works, and above all, what she is. A true ballerina is an artist with the ability to fill the space she moves in with her individuality. There are different kinds of ballerinas, just as there are different kinds of opera singers or actresses. It all depends on their culture, their training, but above all, their personalities. First, there is the romantic ballerina. Early in the 19th century, the Italian ballerina Marita Leoni was the first to rise on point, creating the weightless image of the romantic ballerina. Now, the great Italian ballerina of today, Carla Fracci, is famed for her romantic style. La Sylphide is one of the most authentic romantic ballets that survives. The sylph symbolizes the romantic idea of enticing but elusive love. Now a virtuoso ballerina. This is Cynthia Harvey of the American Ballet Theatre. In solos like this from Paquita, the ballerina must excite the audience with her technique. It's a balletic showstopper. And now the ballerina as lyrical and dramatic actress. She has to tell a story and convey feeling and mood. You can express every human emotion in dance, and that I enjoy most. there is the classical ballerina. Pure classicism is the most difficult form of dance. The Grand Pas Classique evokes the essence of the style required for classical ballet. Immaculate technique. This is Sylvie Guillaume, a beautifully trained young French ballerina. She is perfect for this. Now, if you have all the necessary inner qualities, what must you do to become a ballerina? An ideal body is a very good start, but it is very rare. The basic requirements are a small head on a very long neck. It's preferable to have long legs and long arms to create the beautiful line that classical ballet requires. Ideally, you need beautifully arched feet, and these are rare indeed. Classical ballet is based on what we call turn-out, which is the ability to rotate the legs out from the hips. Some have natural turn-out, and they are lucky. For others, it will come from training.
Et un, et deux, et trois. Coupé.
But even a perfect body and the best training are not enough. Class prepares our bodies every morning for the work of the day. We say, if you don't take class for 2 days, you notice it. If you don't take class for 4 days, everybody notices.
Montez, hop. 2. Très haute la mi-pointe. Fermez derrière. Et hop, le bras. 2. Sentez le coup de pied. À fond la pointe. Hop. Doucement, hop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Relevez.
The body never lies. The dance and every ballet lesson as well is like a confession. Each time I approach the bar, I begin a battle with my own body, which rebels like an untrained horse. There is a special pleasure and satisfaction in this, an almost masochistic pleasure in the body's rebelling. I must get it under control and make it respond. Class starts with the simplest exercises to warm up the engine slowly, and then goes on for 90 minutes a day, every day, all our working lives.
Et la main ouvre. 1, et 2, et 3, et 4, et derrière, devant, 2, 3, derrière, hop, 2, seconde, 2, devant, 2, 3, seconde, et hop, la tête, et hop, 2, 1, 2, bien tendu quand vous arrivez, encore 2, et 1,
In addition to class and rehearsal, dancers may need extra help to avoid strain. In America, it's very scientific. In New York, after taking class with American Ballet Theatre at the Met, I often go up Broadway to the Anderson-Kozakov studio. Here, I work with Brenda Anderson.
The temperature. Bend the knees. Now roll out of it. Roll down. Straighten the legs.
This exercise releases the tension from my back.
Just roll
It stretches
gently
my
up,
spine
up.
while relaxing me after all the tension built up in studio or performance.
Oh, this feels good here. Do it once more, then we'll do this one. Keep all this steady. Just work from the hip.
This is not just to build up strength, but to stretch muscles and make them respond better. This is to help deal with stomach muscles, especially important to ballerinas who have had babies. It helps to get you back into shape again, as I found out myself. Alternately, strength building and relaxation helps to build your stamina.
That was nice. Yeah, that was a little creative. Creative. Good. And straighten out. Drop. Out. And just... That's enough.
And if I need extra strength for a particular role, I go to see Marika Molnar at the Sports Injuries Center. She knows all about dancers as well as the athletes.
2, 3. Pull down harder. 4,
5,
6, 7. Pull down. 8, 9, 10. And rest.
What are you going to do now?
We're going at a faster speed. Back. And rest.
That is strong.
Back. And rest.
I can push.
And rest. Well, I have you at a disadvantage. Go. That's it. That particular machine is called a Cybex machine, and it's an isokinetic exercise machine. And she sits in the chair and angles back about 110 degrees, which makes her quadriceps, so the front of her thigh, be more efficiently used with her knee bent, and then she brings it through the full range of motion and straightens her knee. And it's a specific exercise for the quadriceps on the way up and the hamstring muscles, which are in the back of your thigh, on the way down. And rest, relax. When we were lying down on the table, basically I was working at stretching Natasha to the end of her range of motion. I've been watching this go up.
It goes up.
But you can see that the right leg is still stronger than the left.
Is it?
Look at that.
It's much stronger. What are you doing with that
Still
leg?
You have to work the left leg a little harder. Up and down.
This is special preparation for Swan Lake.
And down. Stretch the arms over your
She
head.
pushes my back so hard, and that helps me build extra flexibility and strength in my upper body. After this, I feel as though my arms could become wings and maybe make me fly. Don't push me so hard.
You're strong, I thought.
That's too easy.
Okay. Do a few first. Warm up. I can feel and I can sense the tension in her tissues that tell me right before I have to stop. And then I stop. Even if she says I can go further, which she usually does, but it's a fine line. Try and stay at that open range at the very end there. Push back. Stretch. push, and reach. Oh, stay there, stay there, stay there.
That's great.
Okay. And relax. Okay, let's move on to the other one now.
A ballerina must take care of her body and every single detail of her appearance. She must have a sense of herself, to be able to wear a costume as if she was born into it, whatever it is, a tutu or a romantic long dress. Like that, yes? If the costume doesn't appeal to her or doesn't fit like a second skin, that affects her performance. A ballerina must know what looks right on her body and what suits her.
I'll show you again. We'll have another fitting and you can see.
The rules for ballet makeup are as strict as the grammar of the steps. Hair to be held in a bun, the bun not too low to spoil the line of the neck. Eyes and mouth clearly defined. Don Quixote is a classical ballet, but stylized Spanish. I try to get a Spanish look in my makeup. Then I add a flower. That's not good color, it's wrong color. Maybe this one, maybe two. Then put here. Or where? Maybe this side is better. Just one. My lips is not red enough. And needs more color of the cheeks, I think. It's too pale for Don Quixote. I have to look Spanish, at least a little bit, not totally Russian. And pointe shoes complete our appearance and indeed support our performance. I've bought thousands of them from Bernard Kohler.
The original ballet shoes were a soft shoe, which was just designed to protect the feet. And then they progressed from there to various other refined instruments of torture, which were a very narrow last, dating back to Pavlova's days, where the last compressed the bones of the foot into that sort of shape so that all the strength was created by the bones being in the form of a tube. And from there, I'm afraid the dancers have rebelled a little bit and they require a bit more comfort as well as more assistance from the shoe.
That I feel comfortable in. That here.
That one, no.
No. And I don't understand the difference. Hmm? Can you see the difference?
Yes,
huh?
let's check the measurements out first.
That's good shoe. Yeah. And I like his flat, no bump here.
That's right, yeah.
It's nice.
These are the tools of their trade. They rely on these for their art and their living and for their whole way of life. And the slightest difference in the shoe can make a tremendous amount of difference to your performance. 1/8 of an inch lower on the vent.
Lower?
This is 1/8 lower than that one.
What it means lower?
Shorter.
Short.
The
This
vent is
one short.
Shorter than that one, yeah. Slightly.
And what
1/8 of
about
an
the
inch.
length?
And the back, 2 3/4.
Okay.
2 3/4. The back is the same.
The same.
Yeah.
But why this bigger than that? Huh?
Shorter toe.
Short. Maybe that makes difference.
That's what's doing it.
It's funny, but it's
Yeah.
it's just like that. It
Yeah,
makes
it's just that
totally
fraction,
different.
yeah, it makes all the difference.
Oh,
Because what that does, that gives you a little bit more at the back there,
Yes.
which makes your foot feel as though it's coming
absolutely,
out.
and coming comfortably.
That's right.
And here I feel like that. You know?
That's it. Yeah, it makes your toes claw together, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
In this program, you have already seen ballerinas from Russia, France, Italy, and America. Ballerina is an international word. We all use the same universal language of ballet, but we speak with different accents. Our different accents start in the classroom. Let me take you first to my old classroom, in my beloved Vaganova school in Leningrad. On entering the school, you are immediately immersed in a special atmosphere, maybe a little old-fashioned, and at the same time typically Russian atmosphere of life in the service of the arts. The Vaganova School of Ballet emphasizes harmony, sense of movement, and the use of space. From our teachers, we learned much more than technique. To us, they were living examples of social grace and elegant simplicity and manners. Aren't these young girls really beautiful? Already I can see clear, beautiful line and elegance. It makes me very proud. It is very aristocratic. After all, Kirov dancers are descendants of the Imperial Russian Ballet. At the school, we learned different styles because we had important classes in national and historical dance. This solo from Raimonda is an example of a Hungarian stylized dance, put by the great choreographer Mario Spitsipa into a classical variation for the ballerina. In this character, we have to use shoulders and torso, what we call Appleman. It makes it distinctive, adds a little paprika. But I mustn't forget that in Russia, as well as Leningrad, there is Moscow. For me, the supreme example of the Russian training is the Bolshoi ballerina Maya Plisetskaya. He is a class at the School of American Ballet in New York. The teacher is the Russian ballerina, Alexandra Danilova. She trained and danced in my native city, Leningrad.
Stay.
Here she teaches young American girls who dream of joining one of the great ballet companies of New York. The School of American Ballet was created by George Balanchine. He also came from Leningrad. He came to America to make ballet based on the Russian technique he brought with him. And he made it faster and more energetic, just like New York itself. A former student of the school, now with American Ballet Theatre, is Susan Jaffe. These are the girls at the Royal Ballet School in London. The choreography of Frederick Ashton has a great influence on what is required from English dancers. Their classical technique needs to be touched by gentleness, restraint, and good manners.
Heel on the floor, heel on the floor. Okay. Well, it's fondue. And
They must appear modest rather than flamboyant.
down and